What's going on, everyone? Listen, welcome to this week's After Dark. I am your host, Patrick, lead educator here at Siser, and I have to apologize for the intro. I was playing around with the template last week just for fun, and I decided to throw something light at you and then come in with the most, egotistical thing I could have possibly done. So I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you like that intro, but it is another After Dark. It is another fun, creative Siser class where we're going to learn a topic today. We're going to go through all of the ins and outs, all the things that you need to know. And today, it's all things adhesive. So it's going to be a fun time. We're going to use a product here at Siser. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We're going to use a product here at Siser called EasyWeed Adhesive. Now, EasyWeed Adhesive, as you can see on the overhead cam, just before we even get into the live, looks like a completely clear material. Well, that's exactly it. This is the adhesive alone without the skin of a heat transfer vinyl. So we're just using the adhesive by itself. These are rolls that you can get from your local reseller, distributor, or retail. And these are an awesome way that you can not only create really cool designs, which is something we're going to go into today on using some craft foils, but also you can use this for so many other things. We're going to actually do or attempt to do a little hidden message shirt that we're going to do a little water effect. We're going to also show you how you can use this to bond your fabric. So if you're making anything like a pennant, ooh, that's what I should have grabbed. I should have grabbed some of that flock up there and made a pennant. If you're making, say, a pennant for your favorite sports teams or whatever it may be, EasyWeed Adhesive is a great way to just bond those fabrics together. But for a personal use for me is, I don't know if you guys know this on camera, I'm not actually 6'10" in real life. So for me, I have to hem a lot of my own pants. So I use EasyWeed Adhesive personally to actually draw that hem line so that I can get a really good stitch, and then nobody notices that you're, doing your own clothes. So with that, we're going to hop right into there. But first, I want to know, where are you guys all watching in from? Let's chime in with where you're here. And then we got to obviously introduce the room. Now you know him. He's the grammatical gatekeeper. He's the sultan of all things syllables, and he is the best copywriter in the entire industry. And his words go way past, actually, from what I heard from a Fortune 500 report, is ChatGPT actually uses Adam's prompts to help answer questions. It's our very own Adam Sneath. Say hi, Adam.
Hey, everyone.
That was a good send. I like that. That was a good one. And listen, if you know anything about graphics, you know anything about design, you know anything about just being a super cool coworker and a super cool friend, you guys know her. She's been on content here at Siser. She has created a lot of what you visually see out there, and her team absolutely rocks. And it's her, Emily, the one and only. It's Emily.
Hi, Emily.
There we go. Nice. I was hoping you would do that. And I know that there's some folks popping into the comments. Listen, Kristen Senchi, she's a pro here. Hey. And everybody sitting in the comments here from the Siser team. Roseanne's in here. She can answer questions at this point for me too. And anybody else, thank you guys for chiming in. I don't know if Anna is watching over. She's on little. Listen, the maestro needs some R&R every once in a while, okay? This is how we keep her emotions in check and keep her from beating us all up here in the office. So Anna might be in the comments, may not, but if so, she's going to be chiming in. And you guys know everybody else here at Siser is answering questions along the way, so don't feel like you can't ask anything. Okay, so let's hop directly in. Today we're talking about EasyWeed Adhesive. Now, I'm going to use Leonardo Design Studio for this. We're going to do some basic applications, and we're going to kind of understand how this process works. Now, with EasyWeed Adhesive, because it comes in either a sheet or a roll, what we're basically doing is replacing a single layer of color or a piece of our design itself and utilizing another type of finish to that. And in today's case, what we're going to be doing, let me grab all these guys out, is we're going to be playing around with something called craft foils. And so what these foils are is there's a thermal foil that actually will release from the carrier that it's on. It's kind of on its own little film. But this will basically accent or add any type of accent or finish to your adhesive design. So let's go ahead and we're going to actually start by right away. We're going to get into some application. Emily, can I ask you to do something very, yeah, you know what, we're good. I think this is bright enough. We're good. I was going to ask you to change the camera to make it a little brighter, but I want to keep it this way because some of these will have a crazy reflection. So today we're using Siser Mini Tee. You guys know it. You love it. You see these all at our trade shows and ask us lots of questions about them. And because our mini tees, if you've watched any of the other After Dark, so make sure that you hop back and you tune into the other episodes, when we're using any type of mini tee, because it has seams, because it has a collar, what we actually want to do is use some type of pressing pillow. So in this case, I have a little bit smaller one that's made special for our mini tees to help us with the bottom padding, and it will actually allow the collar to imprint ever so slightly into the actual heat press platen, and it will give us a good, firm, even pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and let me bring that heat press right into frame there. And I'm going to go and pre-press my garment. And now this is with any type of fabric, whether it's a cotton, a polyester, a poly-cotton blend, or any other type, we should always pre-press our garments. And the reason why we pre-press is really to get all the additional moisture out of the shirt itself. But we also, with those cotton materials, want the shirt to be able to shrink down a little bit. And that's going to actually help to draw out not only that moisture, but get us into a more natural state. So after every layer that we're pressing, we're not going to slowly shrink that shirt, and then our layers won't register to obviously give us what our full design is. Now I have some of our show samples here. These are just our EasyWeed adhesive samples. If I put it up against the black shirt, you can really see the letters of that EasyWeed adhesive sample there. But when I pull it away, it's obviously a clear material. So because this is an EasyWeed material, I want to go back to this one here. Because this is an EasyWeed material, that means you can utilize the 1 second tack, which is awesome when we're talking about adhesive. So I'm going to take my design on a warm shirt. I'm going to simply press it for right around 1 to 3 seconds. And then I can peel the carrier. And just like that, I have my carrier peeled off. And as you can see right there, as I'm kind of trying to shine it in the light, you can very subtly see that tone on tone where my actual EasyWeed adhesive is on the garment. Now, the cool part about it is, if you love the tone on tone, this really just gives you kind of a glossy finish to any color. So you're not stuck to like a glossy black or a glossy like singular color to anything. This will actually give you that tone on tone with any color you apply it to. But for this case, what we're going to actually do is we're going to go ahead, and I want to let you guys pick what material we're going to use, or should I say what pattern we're going to use. So I'm going to lay these out again. I have a really cool like blue, gray, yellowish cloud pattern. We have some solid patterns in like a, what is this? This rose gold, that one? Is that what that looks like? Cool. We got a couple different versions of a pink, more and more of a rose gold. I have right here like a slate blue. And then we also have some wild patterns. We got some floral blue pattern, as well as like a brown floral wave pattern. So we got one for blue. I'm going to give you guys a couple of seconds here. Rose gold. We got some rose gold winners in there too. Let's see what else. We got any more? Material foil. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate it. Blue cloud. Okay, let's do kind of a combination. We're all here together. Let's have some fun because I can show you a few different techniques. First one we're going to start out with is that blue cloud look. Now, your foil just comes on a basic roll. And actually, just to give them a quick plug, A-Magic, if you're asking where we get our craft foils from, A-Magic is the one and only that I trust with the craft foils. They do an incredible job. Their team is awesome. And literally, they send sample rolls like this, these little tiny sample rolls in like the hundreds to us so we can show you guys over at the trade show. So I'm just going to cut off a little bit of that starter of the roll. And then now I can pull out what I want to actually apply to the garment itself. So I'm going to pull out a little bit of material, and then I'm going to go ahead and just cut that off. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my garment, and I'm just going to cover up the entire design, okay? And then what I'll do is I'll put it back on my lower platen. This is the time where it's really important for all of my cover sheet and Teflon user enthusiasts out there. You definitely want to get yourself some parchment paper, some type of cover sheet to help protect your material, protect your design, and what have you. So I'm going to pull off a small piece of parchment paper. I'm going to go ahead and cover up my full design here. And just like that, we'll be able to simply heat apply. Now, with EasyWeed adhesive, the cool part about it is it's actually a low melt application. So EasyWeed adhesive can apply as low as 280 degrees for about 15 seconds or so, but the standard time and temperature is like any other heat transfer at around 305 to 310 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds, okay? But EasyWeed adhesive is a little bit unique depending on what type of finish. So what we're going to do first, before I peel this, I'm just going to let this sit off to the side and cool. And let's go ahead and press out another one, because I want to show you another technique that you can actually do with the EasyWeed adhesive as well. So I'm going to put my shirt back on here. We're going to go ahead and pre-press that garment just for a few seconds. And then we'll peel this off. Again, thanks to our advertising and distribution, Lily does an awesome job up there getting all of our samples ready, show ready, and also pre-cut and weeded. So we appreciate you always, Lil. All right, I'm going to take my adhesive. I'm going to apply it again, and we're just going to do, again, a couple second tack. Make this really simple. And then I can peel that off. Now I have that peeled. Now here's where the fun comes in with this technique. I'm going to use a different solid material because I want to show you two different versions of what the EasyWeed adhesive can do. So we're going to go ahead and use this like rose goldish pink color. And I'm only going to cut enough to cover half of my design. And what we're going to do is this first part is going to be solid. So just like our first application, we're just heat applying it, and we're going to see what the result looks like. Well, for this is no different. We're going to take this piece that's solid, and I'm going to put it on half of my design so we can see what a solid color looks like. And then I want to show you a fun, unique technique you can do. If you take foil, just like any other foil out there, craft foil is very unique that when you crinkle it up, it actually separates and it takes some of the foil particles out of the actual material itself. So when you pull it all apart, see if I can get this on the overhead. What that actually does is it gives you more of that distressed, and now there's pieces of my color that are gone. So it really gives you like that athletic, more of that distressed look. So let me see if I can get that up there. Ooh, right there. So you can see we got it all crinkled up. So what we're going to do is we'll simply apply this part onto the other half of my design. So let me just make sure this is all crinkled up. Cool. This is also the messy part too, guys. You will have some residue that lands on your shirt itself. But what we're going to show you is a really easy, simple way once we're done pressing this on how to remove all of that. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to fold my parchment paper in half just so I'm really protecting my platen. I'm going to make sure I cover up all of the foil, including, but not limited to, but also most important, the distressed, because again, it gives little tiny color flakes and we don't want that to get on the platen of our heat press. And then it looks like we are at 3, 2, 1. That's finished. And again, I'm just going to set this on off to the side. Let me move my press out of the way, and we can start to see the magic and how cool these adhesive rolls really work. So I have my EasyWeed adhesive on there. We've definitely put our craft foil, the simple, and the last thing that I need to do is watch the peel. Just the fun of the peel. So just like that, I've been able to remove all of the color from my foil scrap. And now that lives everywhere, only that EasyWeed adhesive lives on the shirt itself. That looks pretty cool. All right, Adam, I am going to ask you to do something dangerous, I think, one of you. Will you grab that ladder really quick, this camera up here? I just want to make it a little brighter so everybody can see this. So can you put the ladder up real fast? And then what I'll do is I'll peel this. There's a small, on like the shutter button, there's just a small little dial. You're just going to turn that. That's it. I don't know if you can reach it that way, but all right. So what I'm going to do while Adam's kind of adjusting the light for us, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to actually start peeling this off as well. I just want you to be able to see these patterns really, really well too. So yeah, just on, here, I'll get right up in the people's face. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Just right there on the shutter button, there's a little dial. Just turn that dial for me just a little bit more. Nope, the other way, sorry. You're good, you're good. There we go, a little bit more. That's it, that's the money. That's what the people want to see. Sweet, so there we go. So now what I can do is I'm going to take my solid side, peel that off, and you guys can see I have a really, really solid finish to this design. And then now what we can do is we can take that distressed look out, and then on camera you can see the side by side. And let me actually see if I can capture it on this cam a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna come over here. We're coming right up to you guys. Sometimes you gotta make adjustments, right? All right, so let's see if we can really get that on. There we go. So there you go. You can see that that's our solid side of our design. And then right there, that gives you more of that distressed, athletic, you know, distorted look to your actual design. And it always gives off a really cool, fun type of pattern or finish to any design that you're doing, whether that's EasyWeed adhesive or that is just using the foil as a special finish. So let me know what you guys think about that. I think that one's fun. Do we have any questions coming in?
Yeah, we have a few questions, mostly regarding, does it wash well? Is it durable?
That's a great question. So here at Siser, we wash test all of our garments and all of our materials, and our great friend Tracy over in support, who is the one that approves all of these that we sell here, will not let something get out of her desk unless it's gone 30 to 50 washes without a certain percentage of color elimination or fading or whatever it may be or wear. But I can assure you that the EasyWeed adhesive, I have a couple of shirts that are this. Actually, a design that we're going to be doing today is an inspiration from my buddy Joe when he was doing videos here at Siser, and he actually used EasyWeed adhesive on a shirt for the gym, and I'm pretty sure he still has that. And that was adhesive by itself, nothing over top of it. So let's see. Ooh, there you go. Vicky said it, that she said it herself. Didn't even know. Didn't even know that this existed. Most people don't unless you find us at a trade show, is typically when you'll see some of these types of techniques. What's up, Anna? Anna. What's up, Emily?
Do not call me Anna.
Anna, I'm sorry. Emily, I'm very sorry.
Okay, I forgive you.
I'm so used to her just yelling at me, so that's why I said that.
So an interesting question someone brought up. Could you go over the distressed one with another color of foil?
Could I go? Oh, yeah. You guys want to try it out? Let's try it out. So I already know the answer to this, but I want to show you guys. So obviously, as you're alluding to, and who was it that said that? Trisha? Okay, Trisha. So check this out. As you probably already guessing, because the color and the pigment are gone from that other piece, we can definitely go ahead and throw this right on the press. Let me get a wild color that won't, they'll kind of offset that. You think this one?
I'd say the pink this time.
The pink? This one?
Yeah.
This is the one I use, though.
Oh, then
this
not
is more
that
like
one.
a tiger lily. Maybe I should do this one, the rose gold?
No, use the one that was in your hand.
Gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another question real quick
ahead.
while you're testing this was can you do this with an easy press, or do you need?
That's a great question. So with this technique, you can 100% use an easy press on it. You just have to add a little bit of, sorry, was there more to the question? Okay, I didn't want to cut you off. You can 100%, you just have to use a little bit of pressure, but this is not a normal material where you have to have heavy, heavy pressure. It's like an EasyWeed. As long as we can get a little bit of body weight even on that press, then we'll be able to utilize the easy press, no problem. Sorry, I didn't know if I was cutting you off or not. All right. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to use this like gold lens for this one. Just going to go for a friend Trisha. We're going to go ahead and heat apply that. And the cool thing is with the EasyWeed adhesive too, just so you know, it is a super forgiving material. And what I mean by that is if I heat apply it, it doesn't slowly go away. Like it won't dissipate over time. The nice thing is that I can apply this at 10 to 15 seconds multiple times without having any issues or damaging. Now, the really cool part about EasyWeed adhesive too is that it's super thin. So if you're using EasyWeed adhesive and like a craft foil, it's going to feel on the shirt, honestly, way closer to sublimation than you think. There really feels like there's nothing actually physically on the shirt itself. So I would say that using this technique is actually thinner or a better hand than even that of like screen print or a DTF. So more reason. And you have specialty finishes, which make it look really cool. What's up, Adam?
I saw a question asked twice here. Can it be used on cardstock?
Ooh, very good question. We might actually be testing that right now, so I won't answer it for about 2 seconds. There we go. But yes, it absolutely, and we'll show you that in 1 second. So there you go. You can see that now there's a little bit of gold accent in there, and that is covering and filling in all of the cavities or the gaps that were left behind when we did more of that distressed look itself. So I think that looks pretty cool. And a quick little pro tip for you guys too. I think I might have thrown all of my, oh, there they are, all of my sticky carriers. But the way to clean up your adhesive on your shirt, because there will be sometimes little speckles of color, is you just take that carrier, lay it down, and peel it off. And you'll actually even notice that, you know, there's quite a bit of color that's coming off of this shirt onto this sticky carrier. And the reason being is that's the stuff that you'll typically lose in the wash and think that it actually failed when it didn't. It's really because there are surface pigment and there's surface like pieces that'll kind of just hang around, and you got to get all those off. So you just kind of tap it down with, you know, you can use, I've seen some people use a lint roller, makes it really easy. I'm just like, you know what? I'm throwing this piece away. Why not just use that and throw it away? Okay. So next one up, why don't we test out some cardstock for the fans, for the people out there, and see if it works? Yeah?
What did you say the brand of foil was again?
A-Magic. So A-M-A-G-I-C. A-Magic. Awesome, awesome company. And maybe what we'll do is after this live, what I'll try to do is if you guys aren't already in the Siser North America support group, are you logged into StreamYard, or are you as a extra? Okay, we go to the banners and we just throw up the Siser North America support really quick. Thank you, Adam. But what we'll do is if you're not already a member of the Siser North America support group, make sure that you get involved and that you actually sign up today, because right after this, I will take a picture. I'll snap a photo of this label and kind of a little spread of what we did today so that you guys know exactly what brand. What's up?
Someone's asked a couple times. Let's see. Carla has been asking, can you use deco foil?
Deco foil. I'm not, let me look it up really quick because I'm not 100% familiar with what deco foil is exactly. But if it's a fabric foil, then it should be, let's see. Oh, it's like gold, like transfer sheets. I am not 100% sure, but you know what we should do? Will you just send me a message that maybe we buy some and test it? Okay, well, you know what? That one I'm not 100% sure, and that's a great question. Let's test that one out, and then we'll do a follow-up either in the Siser North America support group, or maybe if we do a quick little, 30-second, 1-minute video on the process, we'll post that, and we'll make sure that we let you know if the deco foil will work in there. Thank you. All righty. So are we ready? Are we got any other questions on this topic, or do we want to move on to the next? Good, good, good. Okay, cool. Adam, will you grab me that cardstock behind you? Let's do some cardstock fun. You guys want to know if cardstock works? We're going to see if cardstock works. And I may already know the answer, but that's here nor there. All right, so we're just going to take some regular cardstock. And you know what? Why don't we, just because we're having fun with it today, let's actually do a fun little project. Let's go into, I'm going to go into Leonardo Design Studio really quick. And all I'm doing, I'm just finding a design, something super easy for us to cut out just to make our lives a little bit easier on this, because I want to show you some cutting as well. So inside Leonardo, let me go ahead and unplug this for 2 seconds so that I have power still to my computer. All righty. So with that, let me just make sure this is all loading up. Cool. Done. All right, so we're going to take this little butterfly right here, and what we're going to do is bring this on into Leonardo Design Studio. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this out of just regular foil. And then what we'll do is we'll heat apply it. But let's do a couple of these. Since we have a 12 by 12 sheet of foil, let me go ahead and make that about 2.5 or 2 3/4 inch. And I'm just going to duplicate that. And we're going to make a couple duplicates of this file, just so we can get an idea of a few different application opportunities that we have. Going to go ahead and select, hit send design, and I think we're already connected to our cutter. So the next thing that I'm going to actually do is let's load our material on over to our cutter. Now today, as you notice, I'm using a roll of EasyWeed adhesive, which typically you're seeing us on lives using sheets or maybe a mat. But when I want to cut matless on a roll and in a production setting, this is the best roll holder that you can get. I only say that because I had a hand to make it and I really love it a lot. But I'm just going to put my roll holder right behind my Juliet, about 6 inches or so, 5 to 6 inches. Give yourself a little room. And then I'm just going to set my roll of adhesive right on the back, just like that. And this thing spins super, super well, which is really nice for the heavier materials that you're using. Next, I'm just going to load up my Juliet. If I can actually get, there we go, get the material in there. And you may or may not be able to see the actual material on the cutter itself. So we're just going to go ahead and have a fun little montage of the blade moving and not seeing that it's cutting anything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and change my cut settings for my EasyWeed adhesive. Right now I'm at a force of about 10, and I'm on the EasyWeed page itself. So I'm going to go ahead and just test cut. Make sure that that weeds out just fine for me, and then we can go ahead and cut out our butterflies and see if they fit or work on our cardstock. Let's go in there. It's 1, 2. Okay, cool. That works. It's working good. All right. So in Leonardo Design Studio, all I'm doing right now is I'm just mirroring it so that we can go ahead and send a cutter. But there is a really cool thing. I'm going to switch back and forth really fast for you. For anybody that hasn't used Leonardo Design Studio or the Romeo and Juliet high definition cutters, there is a great option in here that says area test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, and what you'll see on the cutter in real time is it's actually going to pull the material and it's going to draw the blade. Oops. Maybe I should make sure that I'm connected to the interwebs. There we go. And cutter. Sorry, I also had to make sure I was actually connected to Wi-Fi. All right, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and hit area test, hit OK. And as you can see in real time, the blade of the actual machine moves and draws out the material, and it will give us enough room in the back. As you can see, there's some give here. So it's actually drawn enough material that we can cut. Actually, I'm going to roll a little bit because it gave me a little too much. There we go. We're going to do one more area test just because I want to make sure I don't get any pulling. There we go. And then we're going to simply run our cut. We'll go to advance and OK, and then there we go. So right now, all of our butterflies are actually cutting out for us. Let's go and see, do we have any questions while we're cutting those out? I need to test cut. Oh, yeah. So Trisha makes a really good point. With the Romeo and the Juliet, both of them, you have the ability to test cut right there on the actual cutters themselves or in Leonardo Design Studio, which I think makes life a lot easier. What's up, guys? What's going on?
So Terry asked, is this the same EasyWeed roll that you can use in a regular printer? And I think they may be thinking of Easy Color DTV.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll answer it two ways depending on what direction you meant for that question. So if you're talking about a printer itself, like physical printing color, that is our Easy Color DTV. It's a full printable product that you can actually print on the vinyl itself. Then you can cut, weed, and apply it to whatever you want. EasyWeed Adhesive is a little bit different. This is just the actual adhesive that goes on all of our heat transfer vinyls here at Siser in some capacity or another, whether one layer, two layer, or even for some of our heavier adhesive materials like a EasyWeed Extra, there might be 3 or 4 layers of this on the back. So with that, 2 different materials. One is for cutting, weeding, applying. The other one is for more than like a print and cut for your home cutting system. And I did see somebody else says, how does this work with a Cricut? It's on your normal everyday iron-on settings. What I would just tell you is that start with the standard cut. If you need a little bit more, just put more pressure. But honestly, as thin as the EasyWeed adhesive is, you should actually be able to go standard or even less pressure to cut this. So just your regular everyday iron-on setting will work just fine. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and chop off this design. Let's go right there because I'm not sure. I will say for anybody out there that may use EasyWeed adhesive, one thing that you will find is that sometimes cut lines are a little bit tougher to find because of the way the material is made and how clear it is. But if you have anything like a light table, or for me, I just give myself a little bit extra room and I just start really slow until I actually find where my design will fall. So right here, I can already see, there we go. I can already see my design kind of taking shape here. So I know I'm right on the money. And also, you guys, as a little pro tip, this is something that I use and I'm really surprised when I say it and people say that they haven't thought of it before. Just look at your design on your software. You know, if you're losing a design inside your material or while you're weeding, just look at where all the pieces are supposed to be on your original, you know, template within your own software, and it'll help you to weed out the cavities. What's up, Adam?
What cut settings did you use?
So for this one, for any of my Juliet or Romeo, this is obviously going with saying that your blade is advanced appropriately, but I actually used a cut setting of 11 for this force, and then for the speed, I used 12 for that. I never, you guys will hear this many times over and over again, I never use maximum speed on the cutter. I just don't like to wear the motor like that. So, and it's not necessary because even at a normal cut setting, you know, the cutter's cut still 2 to 3 times faster than anything out there. So you got plenty of time that you'll be saving using a Romeo or Juliet. All righty. What other questions? We got anything else? And all I'm doing right now, guys, for anybody that might be new to heat transfer materials or garment decoration, I'm just doing what's called weeding. So I'm taking out all the negative cavities so that I can get the silhouette of my image that I was going for, which in this case is our little butterfly right there. Any other questions, Ann?
I think you mentioned this towards the beginning, but just to reiterate, can you purchase sample rolls of foil from Siser?
So from Siser, you cannot. However, Magic, I believe they have a website. Can you look it up and send the link if they do? And we'll definitely make sure that if you are watching the replay of this after dark, check the description below, and we'll make sure to put their link their website too. If they do samples, we'll double check first, or at least if you can buy directly from them. And here, if you need one, Adam, if you need one to look at, I don't know if there's a website or anything on there. Nice catch, dude. Should have put you in the All-Star game. All righty. Emily's lost in thought right now. She's so concentrated on comments right now.
I'm just part of the party, Patrick.
Oh, you're just here for the party? That was it? Well, I take back the intro then. Emily's not here to help, guys. She's just here to watch. That's cool, though. She's here to watch and learn. I will say one thing that will, because I'm not a graphic artist naturally by trade, I will say one thing that is fun is like when Cortez is hanging out in live, and or one of you guys come to me and you're like, I didn't know that I could do that. So it's a morale booster, and it's definitely a confidence booster for me.
I love that we're doing adhesive. I feel like it's been a while since we've brought it up, and it's just one of those things that's so cool, and you forget until you see it again. Yeah,
and some people don't even get a chance to kind of learn about it in the first place. So it's always one of those materials that no matter how many times you resurrect it and talk about it, it's always brand new to somebody, and it's super cool. Emily and Adam, maybe we'll go to you guys for questions. Do you guys use adhesive for anything? Have you used adhesive in the past for anything? And what's something that you guys would use it as a use case for? Emily's like, Emily, you're the graphic artist out of all three of us, all right?
Yes, I used it for a pretty unique project, I guess. It was a book rebinding. So I had taken book cloth and some other material. I think it was like a faux leather, and basically used it to adhere it to the actual book, and made a brand new cover with it.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. And how did it hold up? Well?
Oh yeah, it looks great. And I even after I got the book cloth adhered onto it, I went back and added more HTV onto it.
Nice.
To kind of finish it off.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What about you, Em? All I'm doing right now, just before Emily gets into her use case for adhesive, if there is one too, if there's not, it's okay too. I'm just putting on some 12 by 12, a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock onto a mat, because I'm going to show you how to make a quick card. I just kind of changed it up in the moment, but I want to show you guys how to make a quick card using the fold tool and the cutting tool, but we're going to only be using a blade. I know it sounds confusing, but I promise it'll make sense. All right, what's up, Emily?
Well, I am a disappointment to my mother because I never learned how to sew, even though she's been a seamstress like my whole life. So honestly, with adhesive, I use it for no-sew projects.
Yeah.
I think it works well enough to get the job done, and it's gotten me this far in life. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and also too, I know we were talking about it because we were trying to find the hoodie, but Myrna's last design that she did with the fabric, and then using adhesive to make like for anybody out there, if you've seen them, you've probably seen them on like Pinterest and stuff, but people will take like their kids' clothes, like their baby clothes, they'll cut them up and put the word mama in like the outfit they brought their kid home from. Well, Myrna found that EasyWeed Adhesive works as a great, as Emily said, no-sew option, so that you actually have the ability to cut out all your letters, then cut out the fabric using the cutter, and then also being able to apply each of those letters using those adhesive cuts that you had. So what I'm doing right now is we're just going ahead and loading up the Juliet. Now, for a project like this, I want to get really specific on something. So it's hard to use the test cut option when it comes to cardstock. What I'm using right now inside the Juliet is I'm using our deep cut blade. And the issue with using a deep cut blade or a 45-degree style blade, something that's a little bit thicker, is that cardstock typically needs a lot of detail. So by me using a 60-degree deep cut blade, I'm getting kind of both the strength and longevity of a like 45-degree blade, which is a little bit thicker, but I'm able to get a lot of that detail that I'm looking for out of the cardstock itself. So inside Leonardo Design Studio or your software of choice, you don't have to use Leonardo for this project. I'm just going to go ahead and delete my butterflies, and we're simply going to either go, well, number one, I can go to the design library and I can find a card in there. But to make one, we're going to make one really simple. I'm going to do a 4x6 card. So I'm going to put a simple square on screen, and then I'm just going to change the dimensions and change the proportion, and I'm going to unlock this button. And then I'm going to make this a 4x6 card, and then we'll just reverse that. All right, so this right now is a 4x6 card, so this will actually cut out this shape. So now we have the actual card. We need to add our fold line, okay? So I'm going to first take this option, or take this object. I'm going to open up my properties menu, and I'm going to go from a default cut, and I'm just going to simply select my cut tool, which again is the exact same thing as a normal default cut. This is just going to allow me to know what options to line up and be able to separate a cut tool from a fold line, which is what we're going to make. So I'll hit the cut tool. You'll see that your image will become a blue outline. This is just identifying the color of that line and what we need it to do, okay? The next thing I'm going to do at the bottom of my screen is I'm just going to grab simply the pen tool, and I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to click on one point and then draw my line as straight as I possibly can and click on the second point. So now I have my first dot, or my first dot and my last dot of my line. Simply right click and then hit curve. Oh, not curve, sorry, done. Oops, done. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So now I have my straight line. Now this is going to act as my fold. So I need to do two things to this. I'm going to highlight both my rectangle and my score line. So my cut line and my score line. And I'm going to simply hit C and V. And what this will do for me is this is going to center both vertically and horizontally these. And as you know, when you make a card, it has to be proportionate. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is, because I've identified my card to be the actual cut line itself, I'm going to now click on that center line, and we're going to change that from a default cut to a fold. Now, the only thing that this is going to allow me to do, and the only reason that I'm changing both the card outline and that center line to two different types of cuts, even though I'm going to show you how to do it all with the same blade in there, is just for the fact that I want to be able to assign the actual cutting force and speed to each individual line, because obviously I'm going to cut all the way through the material, but I really only need to scratch the surface so I can get a clean fold, if that makes sense, okay? So hopping back into Leonardo Design Studio, and again, if you have a easy way to make cards, you get them from Creative Fabrica. Those are all possibilities and all things that you can do. So that's totally, totally okay. That is 4x6, and then those are 2. Okay, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything and hit Send Design, hit Send Design again, and now I have both my cut line and my scored line all on one page, okay? And that's the reason also why we identify the lines, is so that they'll actually end up on the same page in the right orientation for us, okay? Kristen says, wait, can I get a score line or score-like line with just the regular blade? I'm going to show you a way to do it. However, we are barely scratching the surface of the cardstock. So we are actually taking off like that first layer, Kristen, just a little bit, but not enough to obviously affect your total cut. However, I would recommend use a score tool if you have one available. Okay, so what we're going to do is, instead of using our cutter settings, which is basically saying that the cutter is telling the software how deep to cut and what to do, we're going to deselect that, which now opens up another submenu inside Leonardo. So inside Leonardo, as you can see, these colors correspond exactly with what was on the design board. Wait, the durability of the adhesive and the textile. Oh, I'll get to that one in 1 second, Christina. Give me 1 second. Okay, so now I have my cut tool, which is the blue line. So I basically identified and said, when you sense, hey, Juliet or Romeo, when you see the blue line, or you know the blue line's coming, I want you to cut. And what we're going to do, because it's cardstock, I'm going to cut it at a force of about 60 just to cut all the way through. And then I'm going to use a speed of 11, which I like cutting cardstock just a little bit faster than I do HTV, because obviously sometimes that blade can snag. So I want a really clean, solid cut all the way through. Now, the second thing that I'm going to do is now we have to tell the cutter what to do with any yellow lines that we have, or in this case, a fold or crease line. So now I'm going to select that. And as you can see, it's at a set of 4, but I'm going to actually turn this down to probably 2, because again, I don't want to actually cut through my material too deep. But what I do want to do is I want just enough to actually score the material itself. Now, I did have a scoring tool somewhere around here, and it might be actually on the other side in the photo room. But I'll show you, Adam, if you don't mind, on the in the photo room, the calyx cube, there's some of the cutter stand accessory things. There should be a scoring tool in there. But Adam's going to grab a scoring tool just so I can show you what that looks like. But for the sake of this conversation and the sake of this project, we're not even going to use it, okay? Because we have a force of 2, we're not cutting all the way through a material. We're not even really cutting halfway through our material. We're just scratching the surface to give us something to bend over. But if you have a scoring tool, you might want to go a little higher in the force. Now, here's the cool part. You saw me send a design through Leonardo Design Studio when we first did the butterflies. I can send that no problem. Same thing when I identify 2 different lines. I can still send these all together. But what it's going to do is it's going to remind me in Leonardo, and I'll show you guys right now before we get to cutting. When I go to hit send to cutter, it's basically going to say, hey, we want to make sure you're using a fold tool that is a force of 2 and a speed of 10, and you're also using a cut tool with a force of 60 and a speed of 11 in software. So it's identifying all of those objects for us. You can toss it. Thank you, sir. Ooh, there we go. And then we'll show you one quick time. This is what the actual scoring tool looks like. It's a dual head tool, and it just has basically a blunt, sharper edge on it. And the reason why it has that is so it can actually not puncture, but it can actually set down on your cardstock, and then the little roller ball, it can roll across like a ballpoint pen, kind of forcing that down, or forcing that material to like, what am I trying to say? Crease. Yeah, well, crease, but I'm trying to say imprint. That's what it is. It'll imprint into that, which will cause that crease. I knew there was one word that came before the crease. So imprint, then the crease. Okay. All right. So now when I send this over, when I hit OK, you're going to see 2 things happen. Number 1, you're going to see the actual cutter itself is going to score my line, which it just did in real time. I can't send it back again, but it just scored my line. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to send it to actually cut out my physical card itself. So let's go ahead. We have there's a line in there. All right. So you're not going to really be able to see the score line because it is a very fine line on camera. But there is a very distinct line. So if I just put these 2 corners together and then I push right down, I now have a perfect little crease, little fold. There you go. What are you 2 giggling about over there? The little gigglers. Captain look like missing Mr. Giggler over there. Just keep going. All right, just keep moving. We'll avoid. All right, we're avoiding conflict today here in the Siser studios, and that's okay. All right, so check it out. I got my little card now, little fancy schmancy, handy dandy card, and I also have my little butterflies. Did I say something, or are you just laughing at what we were talking about? Oh God. All right, I'm done. I'm done with you 2. All right. So, well, this is the last time that I'm letting Emily and Adam on a live with me. All right. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just going to put my butterfly onto my card. So we're going to find out, and this was Trisha, right, that asked us. We're going to find out, are these compatible? Will it press? Our friends over at Heat Transfer Warehouse used to do a lot of videos on that, and they were fun. All right. So because I'm using cardstock, though, I don't want to have it absorb too much of the adhesive. So I actually want to go less time. And for this time, I'm actually going to peel all of this hot and not give it really any time to cool because we don't want that adhesive to re-adhere to our carrier itself. So when using any type of cardstock, sometimes the adhesive has tendency to lift and draw back with the carrier. But this one, you can't really see the reflection, but we have our little butterfly. So next step, we're going to take that. Emily, you get to pick. What are we doing color-wise? You want to go cobalt? Do we want to go floral blue?
Let's do the floral blue.
Floral blue? Okay, cool. All right. Lily's going to kill me because I opened 9 of these things on a live. All righty. So I'm going to just pull off a little piece. And the cool thing is certain patterns of foil, just like our Aurora, if you guys remember when we launched that, because the pattern runs in certain directions, depending on what direction I actually place my material down, will give me a different finish or a different look. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to heat apply that for a few seconds here, and we'll let this cool off before we actually peel the adhesive, the foil all the way off. So because, again, I'm not trying to overcook it, I'm just going to go ahead and fold my card. And this is the time, if you are making a card, to grab something just a little bit heavier. What do we got here? Oh, here we go. And put it on top of your card so that it will keep your card flat. That's all. That's the only thing. You just find something heavy, because sometimes cardstock and stuff has tendency to fold a little bit or warp. That's what I mean, in the heat. Okay. Now, let's answer the age-old question. Now that took me 25 minutes to get here. Will it press? All right, so now all we're going to do is pull our foil off. And just like that, and again, we can use some of that carrier to get like some of the excess out of there, out of those cavities. Just like that. We use a little bit of adhesive, a little bit of foil, a little bit of can-do attitude, and we got something cutesy-bootsy going, as we like to say here in the Siser studio. Check that out. What do you guys think about that? All right, let's get into some questions really quick, and then we have one more application we're going to do, and then we'll be wrapping up here pretty soon. Let's see, what do we got going? I see some floating in, so.
Whoops.
Here's the breaking stuff.
Here's a question from Mona. Does the adhesive go bad? I've had mine for years.
Ooh, good question. I have not actually personally, and Adam, you can attest to this too. Like, you can let me know, because I know you've dealt with adhesive quite a bit too. I have not had any that I've been overly concerned about or gone bad since I've had it. And I have some sheets that I've probably had for 2 years plus at this point. I don't know if you guys have had a different experience, but I've always felt like all of our materials, that 3 to 5 years is really the golden, it's like the golden age. Some of these companies and materials, they're like bot flies. They last like 2 weeks. And if they don't stink on the way out, you know what I mean? Some of them, especially the ones that sound like a bug. All right, I'm done. It's an after dark. All right, calm down. The people know. All right. So we've made a cool card today. We showed you also how to use EasyWeed Adhesive, because I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. But as Emily alluded to, and one way that she likes using EasyWeed Adhesive is for no-sew, in a really, really simple way to do it. So I found this loose like polyester fabric, and I figured this is actually like the perfect like yard sign, material. You can get this going. But what we have to do is we obviously typically would have to grab a sewing machine, some needle and thread, and we have to draw a big stitch in this thing so that we could draw a pull through it and we can hang it up. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that just with a piece of EasyWeed adhesive to make your life a lot easier. Move all this stuff. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and lay out, and let me actually clear the whole table. Let's do that. Get all these guys out of here because we want some space for this one. Dunzo. Sorry, you guys are working with me for 1 second on the cleanup. Okay, so let's hop on the overhead. Again, like I said, this is just a flat sheet of material, of fabric. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually create that crease up top on this thing so that we can put a pull through. And Emily, actually, if you could find out there in the main area, there's like a little pole or something we can test this out with after, that'd be awesome. All right, so the first thing we need to do, we're going to go right to the top of our material. We want to find out how big we need to make that circle. So what I'm going to do is kind of probably go a little bit bigger than I think I need, just for the sake of conversation, and so we can display this. And what I'm going to actually do with my EasyWeed adhesive, and I'm going to probably do this in 2 parts, but I just want to measure the adhesive and cut straight so that I'm edge to edge. Okay, so one other really easy thing, if you guys have one sitting at your house, if I can find the photo cutter. Oh, there it is. Okay. So if you have something like a little photo cutter at home, makes it really easy. Because another really fun use case for the oh, thank you so much. Another fun use case for your roll holder at home is that if you do have specific lengths or anything, you can take your roll holder, you can put it down on the table, put your material in there, and now I can continuously use whether just like a straight edge blade, or in this case, I like using the photo cutter because I think it gives me a much cleaner straight line, but I can go ahead and sheet down my material just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 1-inch piece, and we're just going to go 1 inch wide, and we're going to do 2 of those for this application. So I'm going to go 1 inch wide, and then we're going to make 1 more. All right, there's a second one. And then we can roll this back up. And just like that, the benefit of having a roll in something like a roll holder is now I can take these and I can store them. And I haven't wasted a lot of my material trying to figure out how big or how small and whatever I need to do to make this project work. So, all right, next thing is, did you say that? Oh, you got the stick over there. Okay. Next thing that I'm going to do, and you're going to see this kind of happen all in a couple steps, is I'm going to press this in a couple different sections. And I'm going to find the adhesive side of our EasyWeed adhesive and non-carrier side. And if you ever need it, you can just pull a little corner off the edge and you'll be able to see what side's the plastic carrier and what side's the actual thing. It looks like your roll holder the same as the one that came. No. So Luann, a good question, and then great follow-up question, Kristen, after that, is the roll holder that you got with your Romeo is a different style of roll holder that actually comes with the commercial cutters. And the roll holder that you can get for the Juliet is actually a separate purchase. And you can get that in any retail store, most of our resellers, distributors. Definitely go small business, guys. Support some of those people that support us. So if you are a reseller distributor here, or if you're watching afterwards, drop your links down below. All right, so I've cut these to size now, and they're the right length and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start applying these. So I'm just going to put the edge of my material on my heat press. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the first strip down. And again, I'm doing the plastic side up. I want the adhesive side down. And then we will cover that up still with a cover sheet, or in this case, parchment, because again, it's cheaper, it's more economical for us in our craft space. And I'm going to simply apply that for a couple of seconds. Pick up the carrier and peel it hot, just like that. And then what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that I'm not sticking the adhesive together. And if it sticks together for a second, it's okay. As long as it stays hot when you're peeling it apart, you're going to be okay. And then now what I want to do is on this next application, you can really see kind of the gloss edge of my adhesive on there. I'm trying to show it to you a little bit while I'm doing this. And I'm just going to make sure that there's no adhesive actually on the lower platen of my heat press. I want to make sure, and the reason why is I want to protect the upper platen of my heat press to make sure that I don't, I don't ruin it and have to clean everything out. So let's go ahead. What are you doing? Real quick, the roll holder you were using, is that the Juliet roll holder? Yes. Okay, just making sure. Adam, if you asked me that question seriously, kicking you out. I couldn't see it, oh, so okay. I'll give you that. I had to be sure. I'll give you that one then. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and peel this off. And if you get messy with adhesive, meaning like there's some of the adhesive that kind of bends and folds and stuff, that's okay. We just want to try to keep as much of the bulk of it as possible exposed. Okay, so now here's where the easy peasy lemon squeezy part comes. Can I steal the stick? Have you summoned the stick? Oh, God. Ah! Hold on. Ah! She stabbed me. Okay, anyways, we're done. Guys, it's almost 8 p.m. here Eastern time. You know, we're all getting slap happy. Okay, so I'm going to take my stick, and all I'm going to do is I just, oh, not that one. You guys don't want to see the cutter anymore. I'm going to take my stick, put it right under the adhesive, and all I want to do is give myself enough room, to be able to wrap that stick and then adhere the adhesive back to the fabric itself. So I got enough room here. Good, good, good. I'm just going to pull that on out. And the nice thing is if your adhesive is still warm, it'll kind of tack down slightly for you just to make, hopefully the last press a little bit easier. I like to do my seams and make sure that those are even because I don't really care if I have any like folds on the back side. I just don't like any exposed adhesive. And then I'm just going to go ahead and again take my material. Because this is polyester, the other thing that I'm going to watch out for is any spillage. Let me put that back in frame. I just want to make sure, because sometimes with polyester materials, they do have, they're a little bit porous, so like they can leak adhesive. So we just want to make sure that we're protecting upper platen. I'm just going to heat apply this again for a few more seconds. It doesn't need a lot of time. Then we're going to shift that all the way down. And we're going to heat apply the final part of our design over here. Make sure all that's even, Steven. Cool, cool. And what you'll naturally see, because of the adhesive, just like any other fabric, as the fabric starts to stretch and shrink, that adhesive will kind of shrink into those cavities and give you actually a lot cleaner seam than you had before. So now, as you guys can see in real time, we have what seems like our basic fabric, but with the power of EasyWeed Adhesive and Emily running and stealing the stick from something that was in dirt, we have now made a quick little lawn sign that we can decorate. So whether I can offer this for my business to other people, obviously make